Hold up, y'all need to get in here for this mess, because Diddy just sent the entire internet on fire after he got arrested for sextra and forcing young boys and girls into freak-offs without their will. According to the feds, they found hundreds of different tapes of these freak-offs, and they were worse than Cassie even described in that lawsuit. But get this, there were a lot of celebrities who were found in these tapes too, and one of them was allegedly Jay-Z. Yeah, y'all heard that right? Diddy is now reportedly threatening Jay and everybody else he was partnering with to help him get out of jail, or else he's going to sing like a bird and reveal everything once Diddy is officially sentenced. The powerful people he was working with are not going to let him live for much longer because he's very aware of this. So he's putting everything out. If I were Jay-Z, I'd be hiring top-tier lawyers immediately, because Diddy is clearly ready to talk and won't be silent. Diddy was arrested and taken into federal custody in New York on Monday night. According to a TMZ source, Homeland Security apprehended him at a Midtown hotel where he was staying. The authorities reportedly seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants from his properties. Diddy faces serious allegations, including forcing women to have sex with male prostitutes until they were so exhausted they required IV drips for hydration, with some allegedly close to death from dehydration. It's claimed that Diddy kept these videos as leverage over his victims.
These firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large-capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
The case is still evolving, and Diddy's arrest came as a result of evidence found during recent raids on his properties. You might remember that Homeland Security conducted unexpected raids on his homes across the U.S. a few months ago. Footage from those raids showed Diddy's sons, Justin and Christian, being taken into custody, and authorities leaving with significant evidence. At a recent press conference, federal officials disclosed that they have multiple recordings of phone calls between Diddy, his entourage, and his victims. In these calls, Diddy and his team allegedly attempted to bribe the victims into remaining silent or altering their statements to help him avoid facing charges.
In late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs' crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse.
Diddy's indictment has brought to light allegations that he brought numerous workers into the U.S. and coerced them into participating in his illegal activities with friends and victims. These events reportedly lasted for hours, and one of the people allegedly involved was Jay-Z. Diddy and Jay-Z were once very close, with Diddy even calling Jay-Z his brother from another mother. Diddy stated in an interview that only 2 people, Jay-Z and his mother, were allowed to call him by his government name. However, since Diddy's arrest, Jay-Z has been trying to distance himself from the situation. Despite this, individuals like Jaguar Wright have been making sure the public remembers Jay-Z's previous association with Diddy.
John Carter is worse.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
He's smarter. He's patient. He's not sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
This been lining up people he calls friends and stepping to the side while they get hit by the guillotine for 30 years. He's worse. I think the KPD trial has the potential to force Sean Combs to finally be honest about some things that he hasn't been honest about, which could create great leverage for knocking that big lip camel face back into the oblivion in the depths of hell where he came from.
When Jaguar said this, people could not help but defend everything she was saying because Jay has a history of doing things that are just as questionable as the things that Diddy was doing, but for some reason everyone conveniently turned a blind eye and just allowed him to get away with it. For starters, there was word going around back in the day that Jay was in a predatory relationship with then 15-year-old Foxy Brown. He allegedly convinced her into dating him by promising her a career in Hollywood, but once he was done using her, he pushed her off into the industry to silence her, and then went on to completely blackball her.
That ain't the only one that Jay had when she was underage. Yeah, remember Foxy Brown and Jay. Ain't no woman like the one I got. No one could love you better.
This claim was seemingly confirmed by Jay-Z's former best friend, Dame Dash. When questioned about the situation, Dame Dash became noticeably defensive. He did not deny the allegations but stated that he was not in a position to discuss them and suggested that Jay-Z should be asked directly, as he was the one involved with Foxy Brown.
At what age was Foxy Brown signed?
I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown.
But that's
I didn't sign Foxy Brown.
I know
Stop
you
putting
I'm
me in
just
that.
asking a
You keep
question.
asking because I'm on the block. I'm responsible for everybody. I don't know
You
nothing
the
about
boss.
that. Yo, don't beat around the bush. Say what you want
I'm
to say.
just
What do you
asking.
mean by that question?
I was just asking.
What are you insinuating?
I'm
when
not
you ask me
insinuating.
about
I just
Foxy
asked the
Brown?
question.
I
thought Foxy was like 16. That's all I'm saying.
It sounds like you.
All I'm
it
saying
sounds
is
like
in
you
this
got
industry,
something-
when we live
it
in these
seems
glass
like you got.
houses.
It seems like you got a question for Jay. Ask him. Y'all keep asking me questions y'all want to ask him because he ain't here. Ask him. I ain't got shit to do with that, and I don't even know nothing about that.
Even though Dame Dash was reluctant to discuss Jay-Z's alleged relationship with Foxy Brown, he didn't shy away from sharing details about Jay-Z's troubling behavior towards Aaliyah. According to Dame, Jay-Z went behind his back to aggressively pursue Aaliyah, despite her lack of interest. Jay-Z reportedly made multiple attempts to woo Aaliyah, including inviting her to his parents' home in a desperate bid to start a relationship. However, Aaliyah was actually interested in Dame, which led to Jay-Z's ego struggling with the rejection.
Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. He was sending flowers, and he was courting her.
Because the rumor originally was that you were connected to Jay. Exactly. Jay and I were hanging out a lot. He's my homie. We have a lot of fun together, but we never dated.
This is a hot, stinking mess, but that wasn't all the wild things that Jay-Z was doing. Dame said he was forced to cut Jay off as a friend after he realized Jay was willing to do anything for power, even if that meant sacrificing the career of naive girls associating with in the industry. Now, in case y'all are wondering why Dame was even saying this, well, it's because at the time that R. Kelly was exposed for messing with underage girls and even faking documents to Maria when she was 15, Jay was still shamelessly supporting R. Kelly, and even made an entire joint with him. He was basically saying he didn't give a care in the world about them victims, and he was still helping A.R. Kelly's career.
The idea of having a whole album with myself and R. Kelly was just see how it would come out was just an amazing prospect. So we put it together, man. We started coming up, and here we are.
It gets even messier. When Aaliyah tragically died in that plane crash, rumors began circulating that her death was a planned sacrifice, allegedly orchestrated by industry elites like Jay-Z and R. Kelly as a ritual for the Illuminati. These rumors gained traction when details of her final moments emerged, revealing that Aaliyah was not originally scheduled to be on that plane. She was reportedly administered a sedative without her consent, and when she lost consciousness, she was placed on the plane against her will.
The plane crash that killed a rising star in the world of music and film. Reaction today after Aaliyah and 8 others were killed when their plane went down.
The plane, just after taking off for Florida in perfect weather, suddenly plummeted to the ground. Investigators now saying one of the engines apparently failed. Along with 8 passengers, Aaliyah, a young Brooklyn native and a talented singer and actress.
Unfortunately, Aaliyah and Foxy Brown were not the only women who allegedly fell victim to Jay-Z. There are also claims about his rumored mistress, Kathy White, who was reportedly pregnant at the time. Allegedly, Jay-Z had Kathy killed after she threatened to reveal their affair. Her death was officially attributed to a brain aneurysm, but many believe this was a cover-up to obscure the truth. Despite the widespread acceptance of the brain aneurysm story, popular blogger Hollywood Street King took matters into his own hands. He conducted an independent investigation and managed to contact an NYPD officer involved in the case. This officer provided crucial information that Hollywood Street King used to uncover the truth. The blogger then published an article detailing his findings from the officer and others he interviewed. Yesterday, I received news about the sudden deaths of Kathy and Michelle White, which prompted me to launch an investigation. Contrary to the internet reports that Kathy died from a brain aneurysm, An NYPD detective informed me that her cause of death is still uncertain. The case is currently being treated as suspicious, and we are awaiting autopsy and toxicology reports later today. Kathy White died exactly 1 year after I initially reported on her affair with Jay-Z. According to the NYPD, a 911 call was made from an apartment at 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Kathy was taken to Beth Israel Hospital by ambulance but passed away there. It's too early to confirm that an aneurysm caused her death, as an autopsy will provide more details. It appears Kathy White may have been given a sedative, and will need to wait about 2 weeks for the toxicology report to confirm this. 2 weeks before her death, Kathy was contacted by a major tabloid investigating her connection with Jay-Z. She provided minimal information but reportedly told Jay-Z she would go public with their affair for a price. Just over 48 hours after this announcement, which coincided with news of Beyoncé's pregnancy, Kathy died under suspicious circumstances. Adding to the intrigue, Jaguar Wright has claimed that Kathy did not die from a brain aneurysm as reported. Instead, she was allegedly heard screaming for her life in her final moments.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand's sake. I mean, I'm just speculating.
Then there's Beyoncé. Many have suspected that she might have been a victim of Jay-Z but eventually became his partner in crime. Jay-Z was nearing 30 when he began pursuing Beyoncé, who had just turned 18 and was relatively inexperienced in relationships. In a now-deleted 2007 interview, Jay-Z admitted that he met Beyoncé when she was 16, but chose to wait until she turned 18 before making a move on her.
Beyoncé's on. She's been on him for a long time, and you keep her that way.
For those wondering about the individual in the video, that's Beyoncé's former bodyguard, who witnessed everything he described firsthand. His accusations against Jay-Z seem eerily similar to the allegations Cassie made against Diddy. Cassie claimed that Diddy had used substances and alcohol, including ketamine and ecstasy, leading her into dangerous addictions that controlled her life. This parallels the alleged treatment of women by both Jay-Z and Diddy. People are already speculating that Diddy might name-drop Jay-Z when his trial begins. Opinions vary, with some believing Jay-Z is next in line for scrutiny, given his potential connections to R. Kelly and Diddy. There's speculation that the feds might visit Beyoncé's home in 3 months if Diddy cooperates with a plea deal. Others suggest Jay-Z should face interrogation due to his rumored ties to Epstein Island, underage relationships with Beyoncé, and close associations with Diddy. What are your thoughts on Jay-Z's alleged involvement in Diddy's crimes? Do you think Diddy will expose Jay-Z? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to click here to watch another juicy video.